Good evening, Fernwood. It is your swimming in chaos friend Neil here, and it's time for us to dive into a murky pool that we call Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we will watch the June 30th, 1976 episode. There was a ton of chaos yesterday, so let's sift through that a bit before we start. Yesterday was entirely about the mess that Mary's home life has become, and that is now including a construction crew that is digging a trench in the front yard that people can fall into, like Heather. Of course, Mary also wants the luggage that she needs so that she can pack to go to New York to get interviewed for her talk show, but that is not anywhere imminent. Next door at the Shumways, Billy 12 Trees notices an ecological dilemma that needs protesting. Martha and Raymond volunteer to come along. Then over at the Haggers, Loretta informs Charlie of a plan that will help Loretta get famous. And that plan, by the way, is for Loretta to go on tour with Merle and Jimmy Joe Jeters. Over at the Capri Lounge, we have a lovely makeup scene between Ed and Howard. Ed had moved out of the house because of the stuff that had happened just a couple of episodes with Mary and Howard. Howard comes over to the Capri Lounge to inform Ed that not only has he sent his mother Mary to live with her sister in San Diego, but that Howard is ready to fully engage in their relationship. And by fully engage, he's ready to get married. Then, as we see one couple coming together, we see another couple falling apart. Loretta comes to Mary with the suitcase that she promised. Of course, it's covered in mud because Loretta fell into a ditch, but that's something that can be easily cleaned off. What can't be cleaned off is differences in opinion about Loretta's life choice. And Mary makes very clear that Loretta is making a bad choice by going on tour with Jimmy Joe and Merle. Mary feels that Merle can't be trusted, and Loretta takes great offense to this, and they leave in great tension. After this, the episode is entirely about the chaos that is Mary's life after she has lost all of her support systems, which include Tom and Dennis and Kathy and Loretta and Howard. Well, everything is going nuts. The construction is really starting to flood into the basement. Martha and Raymond and Billy 12 Trees come up in full face paint to go off to their protest, and things are just going crazy. Mary looks straight into a mirror that, as the sound of jackhammers goes, falls off the wall and breaks into pieces for many, many years of bad luck. And that's when Martha and Raymond usher Mary out of the house just to end the episode. That's all the recapping we got, y'all, so let's come back after this episode and chat about it.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
The show is going to be a beauty. The film's all edited. It looks great. We've got a terrific panel lined up for you. David Suskind's moderating. We've got Shirley Steen, the noted feminist.
Oh, is she the one with the tinted glasses?
No, that's Gloria Steinem. Shirley wears contacts. Then we've got Norman Nardine, the consumer advocate, and Tucker McMarshall, the media expert. And you.
God, with all those experts, I mean, what if I have nothing to say?
Oh, well, that's what we're hoping. I mean, you're America's typical consumer housewife. I tell you, Mrs. Hartman, this show is really going to grab the numbers.
What?
Ratings. Network is very high on it. Oh, excuse me. Hello? Yes. Yes, she is. It's your husband.
Really? It's for me? Tom?
Mary, hi.
Hi, Tom. How'd you know where I was?
I just, I got your number from New York Information. I just took a little chance, thought I'd call you, and wish you good luck on the show tonight. That's all.
Tom, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm just fine. Hey, guess what? I got myself a new job pumping gas.
Oh, Tom, that's wonderful.
Only I lost it.
Tom, what happened?
I had a little disagreement with the manager, just a little one.
Oh, were you drinking?
Hey, what kind of question is that? What kind of question is that?
I'm sorry, Tom. I just, I worry and,
Yeah, I'm okay. Everything's fine. I'm okay.
Oh, did you talk to Heather?
Heather, she's a Trudy. She's fine.
And Ma?
Oh, yeah, your mother. She didn't come back from that sit-in with Billy 12th Street.
What? You mean she hasn't been home all night? Well, where is she? I mean, where are they?
Wait a minute, Mary. Let me tell you. She's last seen boarding a Trailways bus with 26 other Indians and a collapsible teepee on their way to Columbus. See?
I just want to ask you a question. Are you drunk?
Hey, Mary. Sweetheart, I just called you to tell you I love you. And I want to tell you that I just love you. I love you, blue eyes.
Oh, Tom. I love you, too. Tom? 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 Tom! Tom, look, I'm sorry. We're disconnected. Please, we've been disconnected. Please, we've been disconnected. You have to connect us again. We've been disconnected.
Mrs. Hartman,
What?
You want me to get him back for you?
I don't know where to reach him. I don't know where he is now. Look, you don't understand. I don't know where to reach him. I don't know where he is. My mother is missing. You see, my husband, he just lost his job, and he's been drinking, and my best friend is very mad at me, and I think my house is probably floating away now.
It's just nerves, Mrs. Hartman. Just nerves. I got a great idea for you. I think you ought to go down to Fifth Avenue and browse around, take a look at the shops. There's Saks, there's Gucci, there's Tiffany's. It'll give you something to do until the run-through. Excuse me. Hello? Yes. Yeah, Tech at 3. Right. Sure. She'll be there.
Okay, so I'll just do some shopping now. All alone in New York.
Good morning.
Frank.
Is it okay if I come in?
Well, I'm on my way to work, but yeah, sure.
I know you're coming to the rectory later this afternoon for instruction, but what I have to say can't wait.
I'm not coming.
Oh? You look upset.
Yeah, well, you see, not only Clete, but my mother is missing.
Missing?
Yeah, we think she's on a bus with Grandpa Billy going to Columbus, to help with the Indians' fishing rights.
What fishing rights?
Oh, well, you see, the Scioto River, it used to be owned by the Indians, and now this big power plant is dumping stuff into it, and it's polluting the river, and...
Oh, I see. Well, good for your mother. And your grandfather, too.
Don't say that around the house. My father is fit to be tied.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, listen, it's nice seeing you, but what are you doing here?
I talked to Clete.
Oh, listen, if you're trying to patch things up between Clete and I, forget it. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not going to marry a man who just doesn't consider me at all. I mean, he treats me like an object. He picked out the house, how many children we were going to have. He never thought of me at all. I just cannot live like that.
I didn't come here to discuss Clete Meisenheimer.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Kathy, I've been doing a lot of thinking ever since I met you. I guess I had doubts before, doubts about committing my life to the priesthood. But now I'm absolutely sure that there are feelings inside me that I've been suppressing, and I just don't think I can anymore.
Don't you think you should be telling this maybe to Father or Hurley?
No, I will. But first I want to tell you.
About your doubts?
About my feelings. I thought I'd changed. I thought, that I was a different person. I mean, I used to be kind of, a Romeo in school. But then I turned to the church, and I thought that once I made that choice, that I would never... Kathy, what I'm trying to say is that I haven't changed.
You're still a Romeo?
No. I'm talking about you, Kathy, and the feelings I have for you.
Well, I think I better sit down.
I've never met anyone like you. I mean, you're lovely. You're very special. And when Clete asked me for advice on how to get you to marry him, well, there's just no way I can stand by and let anybody marry you without telling you how much you've affected me.
But you said anything like that was impossible.
Yeah, I know it is. I know it. I've taken vows.
But then how?
I don't know. I don't know, Kathy. All I know is that I'm not able to forget you. I think about you every day.
You do?
Yes. I love you, Kathy.
You can't. I mean, you mustn't. I can't be blamed. I can't take responsibility for that.
I know. I know. But I just had to say it. I love you.
Martha? Martha? Anybody home?
There's nobody home unless you call me somebody.
No. Did she call you? Did Martha call? She's not here?
No.
Have you been here all day?
Well, ever since I came back from my walk this morning.
Well, how long were you gone?
Well, long enough to play a game of checkers with the crossing guard at the Mary Jane Elementary.
She could have called by then.
Don't you want to know who won?
Listen, Art. I am concerned about my wife, your daughter.
Oh, she's only my adopted daughter.
Who is off on a bus with a bunch of Indians to God knows where.
Yeah, well, I guess she ran away for good this time.
Now, what does that mean this time? She's never gone away before.
Oh, sure, she's always run away when she was a kid. She always was back by supper time.
You know something? This is all because of that new father of hers. Billy 12 Trees.
The tall tales. Even his name is an exaggeration.
Yeah. What?
Well, why 12 trees? Why not 1 tree or 2 trees?
You know something? I wish she'd have never found out that she was adopted. That way she wouldn't have been looking for him, and better yet, she wouldn't have found him.
Well, don't blame me.
Well, I'm not blaming you. You know something? You're not a bad old coot. At least you never got Martha into trouble like this. I guess I owe you an apology.
Yeah? Well, that don't mean I have to accept it. I think I'll make myself a peanut butter sandwich. Oh, look, there's a note here of some kind.
What is that from Martha? Dear Mom, if you ever come back, and Dad, have just made the most important decision of my life. See you later. Love, Kathy. Now, what's that supposed to mean? What decision is that? I thought you broke up with Cleet.
Well, I think it has something to do with that priest fella.
Oh, no. Oh, no. What's wrong with this family? Do you know the only sane person in this family? Mary. That reminds me, she's going to be on television tonight. Oh, I bet she's having a ball in New York.
Hello.
Oh.
Can I help you?
Oh, no, I'm just browsing. Oh, thank you. Gee, I love your store. It's just so, nice and pretty and peaceful and quiet.
Yes, it's been rather slow today. Well, if you want any help or you have any questions to ask.
Oh, thank you. Actually, I do have, one question.
Oh, what?
Could you tell me what time it is?
5 of 5. We close at 5.
Oh, I see. See, normally I don't care that much about the time, but today I'm going to be on television, so I don't want to be late.
Oh, are you somebody?
Oh, no, I'm just Mary Hartman.
What is the show, Mrs. Hartman?
Oh, it's the David Susskind Show.
Oh, really? As what?
Oh, as Mary Hartman. I'll be me.
So you're the typical American housewife.
Yes, but I'll just be browsing. But definitely with an eye to buy. Definitely with an eye to buy. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. America's typical consumer housewife may be about to buy. Yes, she is going to buy. She is definitely going to buy. And for her purchase in this lovely store, she is going to buy this beautiful dollhouse for her little girl, Heather. As a matter of fact, that dollhouse is exactly what the typical American consumer housewife has been looking for. As a matter of fact, as she walked by it, it just seemed to reach out and say, "Buy me." So I will take it. I will buy it. America's typical consumer housewife will buy this doll's house for America's typical consumer housewife's daughter.
Now, we have some other doll houses.
This doll's house is perfect.
Perhaps you'd like to see some of those. The other doll houses are much more modern.
No.
They include a den with a wet bar.
No, I'm sorry, that's all wrong. Do you mind if I move the people around in here? Do you mind that?
Well, not if you're careful.
Okay, I will be. I'll be very careful. Do you
Very
have any
well, then.
Scotch tape?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I just like a little Scotch tape. You see, the people, the father, this is all wrong here. The father and the mother should both be in the same room. They should be in the bedroom. And what I would do is I would just, for the meantime, just tape them down here, and they would just sit there, and then he would sit here. Now, the little girl, which I'm about to get to, the little girl belongs in her room. Now, in her room, in the little girl's room, are all her little toys and all her little, look, little binoculars in there and all her little clothes. Oh, and look at that. Little kids. Look at those. Is that adorable little kid?
And very authentic.
And very healthy. Much healthier than platform shoes.
This dollhouse is for your daughter, isn't it?
Yes, my daughter's name is Heather. She's, I can't tell you how much she's gonna love this house. Look at it. Look at it. There are just no plumbing problems. And look at the father. Clearly that man does not have a drinking problem. And they're all so happy.
If your daughter is 12, now, don't you think that she just might be a little, old for a dollhouse?
You know what I think we should do now? I think we should move them all into the dining room for dinner. Is that all right? I just hope that we have enough Scotch tape.
Mrs. Hartman, I'm sorry, but it's closing time. And if you want to make a purchase...
Oh, yes, I do. I want the dollhouse.
I'm sorry, but this dollhouse is not for sale.
Oh, no, please. Oh, no. Oh, no, you have no idea how important this is to me. I want this doll's house.
Sorry. But it's not for sale.
I know, but I have to have this doll's house.
I'm sorry, but these are the rules.
I know, but you can break the rules. You work here. You can break the rules.
I'm sorry, but I can't.
But why?
Mrs. Hartman, if you'll excuse me, I have another customer to get to.
I'm not leaving without the doll's house.
Perhaps if you could come back tomorrow.
I won't be here tomorrow. I can't come back. I won't be here.
I'm sorry, but the store is closing.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm not leaving without my doll's house. Oh, look, a piano, a little piano. George, Paul,
Where in the devil have you been?
Oh, George, the most awful thing happened.
I know.
You mean Pa's home?
Yes, he's in the living room watching The Last of the Mohicans. Martha, where have you been?
Oh, that is such a relief. You see, we were going down to Columbus, for that city in the Indian city and on the Capitol steps about the fishing rights along the Scioto River. And we stopped at a bus stop, because I had to go to the little girl's room. And when I came out, Paul was gone. And I just didn't know what to do. So I climbed back onto the bus and waited, and we waited. And suddenly I realized that it was not only Paul who was missing, along with some other Choctaws, but there were some Cherokees who were also missing.
Well, of
and
course.
I grew very fearful because I thought they might be off rumbling someplace.
Of course, Martha. You know the Choctaws and the Cherokees never put it all together.
I know that, George. You don't have to tell me that. So I climbed back onto a bus and came on home because I thought he'd be here, which he is, thank God. Now, I'll just check on him, and then I will get your supper.
Martha, now wait a minute. When I said Grandpa, I meant Grandpa Larkin.
Oh, you mean Grandpa 12 Trees is not here?
That's right.
Well, then what did you mean when I came in and said an awful thing had happened and you said I know?
I thought you were talking about Kathy.
Huh? Well, what's wrong? What is wrong with Kathy now, George?
Nothing. She just wrote a note saying goodbye forever, that's all.
Oh, do you think she has run off and to marry that priest?
Sorry to barge in.
George. There's Tom.
Hello, Tom.
How's everything?
Oh, Tom. Things could not be worse. I lost Grandpa Billy 12 Trees at a bus stop. Kathy has run away. Oh, my Lord. And Mary was a nervous wreck when she left for New York this morning. And now Pa and Heather are looking at The Last of the Mohicans. And you, you poor thing, you don't look a bit good. Can I fix you some supper?
I want to see Mary on TV. See, because that hole I'm living in, I don't have a TV set.
Well, come on over here, honey, and you sit down right here, and I will get you some coffee.
Okay.
Listen, Tom, we want to help you, Why don't you consider going to that alcoholism club at work?
George, wait a minute, George. Don't you understand something now? Look, I don't want to go back to work. I don't want the crummy job anymore. I don't want that crummy alcoholism program. I'm not an alcoholic. I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have come here. I knew I shouldn't have.
We just wanted to help you, Tom.
Oh, get off my aching back. I just want to help. Get off.
Tom Hartman, you come right back here. I know you have your differences with George and Mary, but you are not going to leave this room without as much as giving me a goodbye kiss. There, that's better.
Oh. Goodbye, Mom, George.
If you change your mind.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, Tom, sweetheart, and please try to stop drinking, please, and please don't drive your car.
Okay, Mom, okay.
Sweetheart.
You know something, Martha? I think you're actually starting to get through to him.
Oh, I hope so.
Martha, I'm going to tell you something. Do you realize that you have grown to be twice the woman you were when I married you?
Well, maybe that's because I have two fathers. Except one of them is still missing.
Oh my. We have a lot of elements going on in this episode. Mary talking to the producer. I don't actually remember the producer's name, but it's not important. Basically, Mary is needed in the studio later on today, but gets a disturbing call from Tom about all of the things that aren't quite going right at home. Tom's still looking even more hobo-ish as we go. maybe he doesn't have that 5 o'clock shadow makeup, but he's drinking out of a bag. It's not pretty. Then Kathy gets a visit from Father DeMarco. That's surprising. And, well, I guess it wouldn't be a soap opera if there weren't a very sudden turn. So apparently a big decision's being made. No one really knows what that is, but I figure we'll see that soon. After that, we see George back home looking for Martha, as Martha seems to have disappeared, and Raymond fills George in that Martha got onto a bus and apparently isn't home. Then they find a note from Kathy that something big is happening, and I guess that's something that we're just not going to find out today exactly. I'm very curious though. And then we see Mary in New York City, and specifically at a toy store, which I think is a smallish toy store, compared to the stores I remembered in New York that are now closed, but like FAO Schwartz or the Times Square Toys R Us. Because I'm reminded of New York City toy stores, I'm going to leave a video about the Times Square Toys R Us right here. Defunct Land did a video about that store, and, well, there's a lot of feeling when I think of toy stores in New York. But that, for me, was a really powerful scene about Mary and what Mary wants in life. And there are a lot of questions about Mary's wants versus Mary's realities. And I think that's something that very much needs to be reconciled somehow. If Mary wants to live in the life that she's living, she needs to find some satisfaction with the life that she has. And I believe so much of the pain that Mary feels is because the life that she has does not resemble the life that she wants. So to me, the image of the dollhouse is very much Mary not accepting her reality. And yes, her reality is pretty awful right now. But there's a part of working through the pain that is accepting what is currently the circumstance. And that's something that Mary doesn't do at all. Then we come back to the Shumways, and Martha comes home to explain what's going on. And of course, Martha's worried about missing Billy 12 Trees. It is not that Billy 12 Trees went to protest that bothered me in this. It was that it seemed like a stereotypical behavior of a Native American character. That's the thing that bothers me. But apparently there's a rumble between the Choctaws and the Cherokees. I don't know. There's a lot of trouble. Everyone's not doing well now. Tom comes home and he's drunk, and who knows what's going to happen. So we'll see what happens, because Mary's still in that toy store. As far as I know, she's going to get locked in. I don't think that's how a toy store would really handle it, but I guess we'll see. Thank you so much for diving into these murky waters with me, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.